There's a silent battle that rages within us all. It's a war fought not with fists or weapons, but with the quiet, persistent whispers in the dark of night. You felt its pull before. The promise of relief, a moment of escape from the relentless hum of life. This isn't just about a vice, a substance, or a habit. It's about something far more fundamental. The ancient conflict between who you are and who you fear you're becoming. Most of us are trained to see addiction as a failure of willpower, a character flaw. We're told to just say no and be strong. But if it were that simple, wouldn't we all be free by now? Carl Jung, the great Swiss psychiatrist, saw things differently. He argued that addiction is not a moral failing, but a symptom, a desperate message from the soul, trying to tell us something our conscious mind has refused to hear. He wrote, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. This fear of meeting our real selves in the dark is what truly traps us." Imagine the scene. You're alone, the house is quiet, and the day's weight settles on your shoulders. The craving arises not as a loud demand, but as a subtle itch, a quiet pull toward something that promises to make the pain disappear, even just for a moment. You know it won't last. You've been down this road 100 times before. Yet, you pour the drink, you light the cigarette, you open the app, hoping to lose yourself in the temporary oblivion. The relief is fleeting, the crash inevitable, and the shame is a familiar, silent companion. You are left with the same question: why do I keep doing this even when I know how it ends? We see cravings as enemies, monsters to be conquered or suppressed. But what if they are not the enemy? Jung's philosophy offers a radical perspective. He believed that every urge, every compulsion, is a messenger. It's a part of our psyche, speaking a truth our waking self is too afraid to hear. Cravings are the language of the soul's pain. They aren't about the substance or the habit itself, but about what is missing from our lives. Addiction is not a battle of strength. It's a puzzle of meaning. This is why so many attempts to overcome it fail. We focus on discipline, on pushing the beach ball of our desire underwater. The harder we fight, the more powerfully it resists and eventually explodes back to the surface. We can't white-knuckle our way out of this forever. Jung saw this struggle for control as a dead end. Instead of asking how to suppress the craving, the real question is how to understand it. What is this urge trying to tell me? What part of me have I locked away, hoping it would disappear? Jung called this exiled part of ourselves the shadow. The shadow is everything you've denied, rejected, and are ashamed to admit, even to yourself. It is your hidden potential, your unexpressed creativity, and your deepest wounds. The more you hide it away, the more powerful it grows. And addiction is the shadow's favorite disguise. It shows up as a comforting friend, but it feeds on your silence and your shame. It whispers, "You're not enough. You're alone. You'll never change." Every addiction is a mask for pain. Most people spend their lives rearranging the mask, never daring to look beneath it. But the real transformation only begins when you have the courage to face what lies beneath. Jung believed that the shadow is not defeated by force. It is transformed by attention. The journey to freedom doesn't begin with a war against yourself, but with an act of radical self-acceptance. It begins by daring to be curious about your own pain. What if the next time the craving arises, you don't fight it, you don't run? What if you just notice it? Most of us never get this far. We're too busy, too numb, too scared to sit with the discomfort. We'd rather stay in the dark than risk seeing what's hidden there. But you, right now, have already begun the journey. Curiosity is the first act of rebellion against addiction's power. The next time you feel the craving, don't run. Don't fight. Instead, just notice. Pause and ask yourself, what am I really looking for right now? Is it comfort? Is it distraction? Is it love? This simple act of observation is the beginning of self-mastery. You are observing the craving, not becoming the craving. You may notice a story running in your mind. Maybe it's fear, loneliness, or a sense that you're missing out. Perhaps it's a voice that whispers you'll never be free. But as you notice, you create a gap, a space where you can choose. Carl Jung believed that every addiction, every shadow, is an invitation. If you listen closely, your craving is asking, what have you refused to feel? What part of you needs to be heard, healed, or welcomed home? Healing doesn't start by declaring war on yourself. It starts by making peace with your own wounds, your own longing, your own forgotten dreams. This journey is not about fighting the tide, but about learning to read the currents underneath. Addiction is more than just an action. It's a ritual, a script you perform when you feel lost, lonely, or overwhelmed. And here's the secret most people never learn. Every ritual holds meaning. Every habit is a clue. You don't crave the cigarette, the drink, or the endless scroll for no reason. Each time there's a trigger, an event, a feeling, a thought that makes the world feel either too much or too little. Maybe it's stress after work. Maybe it's the silence before sleep. Maybe it's seeing someone else succeed while you feel left behind. The craving arrives not as a command, but as a comfort. It whispers, let's not feel this right now. Let's forget. Let's disappear. But what if, just for a moment, you didn't run? What if you turned around and faced the craving, as Jung would, and asked, why are you here? The answer might surprise you. It may not be about the thing itself, but about the feeling you're trying to avoid. Maybe it's loneliness. Maybe it's the fear of not being enough. Or maybe it's the echo of a childhood wound that remains unhealed. Philosophy teaches us to ask questions even when the answers hurt, and psychology gives us the courage to sit with that discomfort until it tells us what we need to know. We've heard 1,000 times to be disciplined and use willpower, but no one tells you the real secret. Willpower is exhaustible. Every time you resist, you're drawing from a well that eventually runs dry. When you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, the well empties, and the old pattern returns. Jung compared the conscious will to a small boat on a vast ocean. If you only focus on rowing harder, you'll get nowhere. But if you learn to read the waves and know what storms are coming, you can navigate with far less struggle. This is the real skill, learning to notice your patterns without judging them. To see the craving not as a failure, but as information. Information about what's missing. Information about what you truly want. Jung believed in the magic of names. What you can name, you can tame. The next time the urge arises, instead of tightening up, pause and name it. This is anxiety, you might say. This is loneliness. This is the part of me that wants to be soothed. It may sound simple, even silly, but the act of naming pulls the craving out of the shadows and into the light. The more clearly you see it, the less power it has over you. When you can say, I know why you're here, you begin to change the story. Here is where philosophy and psychology truly meet. The goal isn't to destroy the craving, but to integrate the lost part of yourself that's using the craving to cry for help. Carl Jung wrote, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, to accept the craving not as the enemy, but as the voice of a wounded part, is to begin healing for real. So how do you do this? It starts with radical honesty. The next time you feel the urge, don't distract yourself. Don't berate yourself. Instead, ask, what am I avoiding? What pain have I refused to feel? What hope did I give up on long ago? As you ask these questions, you might feel a rush of fear, a wave of sadness, or even anger rise within you. And that's okay. Most people turn back at this point. They tell themselves it's too much. But every time you face your shadow, you take back a little more of your power. You won't be free in a day. But every time you bring awareness to your cravings, you loosen the chains. Every moment of curiosity is a victory over the old script. This is where the wisdom of the ages becomes a practical tool. Philosophy asks us to endure the discomfort of not knowing, to sit in the unknown and trust that something new will emerge. Jung's psychology is an invitation to patience. Change doesn't happen all at once, but each act of awareness, each honest question, plants a seed for the future. As you learn to listen, not run, not numb, not distract, you start to discover a new voice inside. A wiser voice, one that doesn't need to shout or threaten. One that says, I see you. I know you're hurting, but you don't need to escape anymore. You can stay. This is the beginning of self-trust. This is what Jung called individuation. the journey of becoming whole, not by cutting away the parts you don't like, but by welcoming them home. Most people will never know this feeling. They'll spend their lives chasing relief and missing the lesson. But you, by staying with this question, are already on the path less traveled. You might not feel free yet. That's okay. Freedom isn't a single moment. It's a process. It's the result of 1,000 small acts of courage. 1,000 moments of turning toward your pain, not away. The journey continues. In the next part, you'll learn the final, most transformative step. How to use the very energy of your cravings as fuel for a new kind of transformation, not self-destruction. And you'll discover the truth Jung reserved for his bravest students. A truth that turns addiction into a teacher, not a curse. Don't miss it, because the last lesson is the one that changes everything. You've made it here, through the hard questions and the hidden rooms of your own mind. Most people would have clicked away by now, scared off by the discomfort or by the fear that nothing can change. But you stayed. That already means something. It means you're not just searching for relief. You're searching for transformation. Carl Jung didn't believe in shortcuts. He believed in alchemy. He saw life as a process of turning lead into gold. Not by throwing away what's dark or heavy, but by melting it down, understanding it, and allowing it to be changed by your awareness. Think about the urge, the craving, the pull toward your old habits. Every time it rises, it's like a spark full of energy, full of potential. Most people waste that energy by fighting it, running from it, numbing it, or shaming themselves for feeling it. But what if you learned to use that spark instead of trying to extinguish it? The alchemists believed that every poison can be turned into medicine if you know the secret. Jung believed your craving, your addiction, is the very material from which your new self can be forged. This is the alchemy of turning poison into power. It all starts with a shift in attitude. Instead of asking, "How do I get rid of this feeling?" ask, "What can I learn from it? How can I use its energy?" Craving is pure energy. It's the mind's way of saying something is missing, that something needs to move. When you feel the urge, don't waste it. Channel it. If you're craving a cigarette, use that moment as a cue to take a deep breath, to move your body, to write down your thoughts, or to create something, even if it's just a single honest sentence about what you're feeling. This is the difference between unconscious repetition and conscious transformation. You can't always stop the urge from coming, but you can choose what you do with it. Over time, this practice rewires your relationship with yourself. Jung noticed that people who escaped addiction didn't just quit. They replaced one ritual with another, one pattern with something more meaningful. You need new rituals, new ways to use the energy that used to fuel your cravings. If you always reached for your habit in times of stress, try pausing and feeling the ground under your feet instead. If you used to numb your mind before sleep, try journaling the one truth you're most afraid of admitting. If you want to run from discomfort, try moving toward it for 60 seconds, naming it, breathing through it, and letting yourself feel it fully. Small rituals done with awareness are the tools of transformation from shadow to self. Jung believed the purpose of life is individuation, the process of becoming whole by integrating all the lost, rejected, or feared parts of yourself. Addiction shows you where your wounds are, but also where your greatest energy lives. The shadow isn't your enemy. It's your guide to your own hidden potential. Every time you pause and face your craving, you reclaim a little more of your power. You become less divided, more unified, more yourself. And slowly, your identity changes. You're no longer the addict, the lost cause, or the one who can't change. You become the observer, the chooser, the alchemist. Someone who can hold pain, longing, and even fear and still move forward with purpose. This new identity isn't announced with fanfare. It's quiet. You'll notice that the voice of shame gets softer. You won't feel the need to hide from yourself as much. You'll catch yourself pausing, reflecting, and choosing, just once, and then again. You'll begin to trust yourself, and that trust grows one small act at a time. Most people measure change in big victories or clean streaks, but Jung believed that real transformation is measured by your willingness to show up honestly for yourself, day after day, no matter what. Here's the hidden reward most never expect. The journey through addiction is not just about quitting a habit. It's about discovering a new relationship with yourself. You begin to realize that you are stronger than you thought, wiser than you believed, and more capable of holding discomfort than you ever imagined. You stop seeing yourself as broken. You start seeing yourself as brave. Carl Jung wrote, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." That is your truth now, too. So here's the final challenge. You've already proven you're not like most. You're ready to meet your cravings with curiosity, your shadow with compassion, and your wounds with the willingness to heal. Every time the urge returns, use it as a bell, a reminder to check in with your deepest self. Ask, what do I truly need right now? What does your soul hunger for? Is it connection, truth, meaning, rest? Find a small, honest way to give it to yourself. Every time you do, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen the new. Addiction wants you to believe you're stuck forever. That's the lie. The truth is you are changing every day, and every small act of awareness is a victory. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to keep showing up. Because as Jung knew, the freedom you seek was always waiting for you. Just beneath the shadow, just inside the craving, just on the other side of the fear. You'll never let addiction win again. Not after this.